Hello, my name is Douglas Bloch. I'm an author and mental health educator. Welcome to your Depression Recovery channel, where each week we talk about practical tools and coping strategies for healing from depression and anxiety. The title of today's video is Affirmations that brought me through a depressive episode, but of course we have to start with our regular joke, which has become an institution. I went to the doctor because I broke my arm in 2 places. You know what he told me? Stay out of those places. I don't know, maybe I shouldn't go back to him anymore. Anyway, Mark Twain, the wonderful American humorist, once said, "I'm an old man and I've had a great many troubles, but most of them never happened to me." Very funny, and what he was talking about is the human mind's tendency to worry about things that never happened. Well, this turns out to be our default position, right? And the reason we worry about things that never happen is because we're focusing on the negative. And why are we focusing on the negative? Because when we're in the Serengeti and tribes trying to survive, it was a survival advantage to notice what was going on, because if you didn't, the saber-toothed tiger could come and just eat you up. So you had to pay attention to danger in order to survive. Now, the problem is when people like us get depressed, this negativity bias goes into overdrive. And if you'd like to know if you suffer from this tendency, I'm going to read a couple of sentences in a moment, and I simply want you to complete them. There'll be incomplete sentences, and you can either complete them in your head or you can write them down. So here we are. I am. Most people are. The world is. And when I think about my future, I see. If you answered in a way to these questions that was quite negative, you are suffering from what I call the cognitive triad of depression, which is a negative view of the self, a negative interpretation of the world, and negative expectations about the future. I like what the comedian Lily Tomlin said: things will get worse before they get worse. So here's an example of how the cognitive triad of depression might play out if a person is moderately depressed. Some of you might be able to relate to this. Okay, you're at work and a coworker gets laid off. Maybe a bunch of coworkers get laid off, and you say, "Oh my God, what if I'm next? Well, if I get laid off, I won't have an income. I won't be able to pay my rent or my mortgage. I'll lose my house. I'll be in the street. I'll be homeless. I won't get enough to eat. Oh my God." And, the anxiety ramps up. We call this catastrophizing. It's something that many of us do to various degrees. However, if someone has what we call an episode of major depression, as I have many times, thinking in a negative way becomes much more problematic and potentially even life-threatening. So when I was depressed, here's how my thinking went. I've been depressed for a year. Well, nothing has worked. Well, nothing will ever work. It's hopeless. Well, I might as well end my life now than suffer for an eternity. Just get it over with, because, if nothing's going to change, why stay alive? It was this kind of negative thinking, extreme negative thinking, that I experienced when I had my nervous breakdown or major episode of depression in 2015 that led me to be hospitalized. Now, a lot of you know about this because I did document it during the time, and you could see when I was making the videos I was not in good shape, and I certainly wasn't. When I was in the hospital, my therapist said, "Doug, if you're going to survive, we need to break this negative cycle of thinking. Why don't you come up with some affirmations? After all, you wrote a book on it." I said, "Yeah, but my concentration is so horrible, we need to keep them short and simple." So I did write down about maybe 10, 12 of these affirmations, put them on a piece of paper, took some masking tape and taped them to the wall. And every day when I was in the hospital, I read them, once, twice, sometimes 3 times a day, over and over again. I thought of them as my emotional life raft, and reading them did keep me afloat until finally things changed and I came out of the episode. Now, let's fast forward 5 years. 5 years later, while researching my current website, or my new website, Overcoming Suicidal Pain, I found the piece of paper with the masking tape still attached. That list of affirmations I'd posted on the hospital wall. So what I'd like to do now is to read them to you, share them with you, and if you find any that really speak to your condition, feel free to write them down. I can get better. I'm reaching out for help. This too shall pass. My strength is growing. I am working on my courage. I am staying in the present. I will focus on what I am grateful for. I can bear this. Things are changing every day. This is my favorite. I feel hopeless, but I know that this is not the whole truth. My feelings are not a reliable indication of my reality. And with help from my higher power, I can survive my ordeal. Reading over these affirmations after 5 years brings back the pain of that time, but also gratitude that this technique kept me alive. I will treasure it always. So, if you find yourself being overwhelmed by negativity and going into despair, use the same technique. Keep your affirmations short and simple. They'll speak to your subconscious, and they will also speak directly to your survival instinct, and you will be able to stay afloat until the tide brings you safely to shore. This has been Douglas Bloch. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you found it helpful. If so, give it a like. I just found out recently that likes drive people to this channel and to more videos, so your likes are important. You can also leave your comments in the comments section or email me, douglasbloch@gmail.com. If you want to subscribe to this channel, and we just hit 80,000 subscribers, simply go ahead and click on my photo in the closing credits. You'll be taken to a screen where you can click on the button to subscribe, but there's a little bell to the right. If you click on that, you'll be notified every time I do a new video or live chat. And if you want to become a sustaining member of this channel, click on the Patreon symbol. You'll be taken to my crowdfunding site where you can become a monthly sustainer for as little as $2 a month. And until we meet again, I wish you the best in your mental health recovery. Thank you again for watching.